Well, hello there, and welcome to Sister Sister, an all-women talk show, relationship talk show at that. My name is Jessica, and it's great to come your way once again, live on City TV and City FM. We're also live in Sub-Saharan Africa on DSTV channel 363. Thank you so much for joining us. Later on the show, she wants to stop sleeping with her father-in-law, and she's written to us for some advice on how to pull that off. Plus, he's no longer interested in her because she wets her bed. How do you deal with a situation like that? We deal with that and a few more messages on the show today. Remember, the show's brought to you by Vodafone and also brought to you by Lydia. And you know, with Lydia, you truly decide. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, Sister Sister on City TV. So we'll delve right into action, but before then, there are various ways that you can interact with us on the show today. If you have comments you want to make, you can send a WhatsApp to 054-998-6996. And if you're watching this show from outside Ghana, don't forget to prefix it with the country code, and that will be +233. And I've been getting lots of messages from Sierra Leone, so I'd like to say hello to all my viewers in Sierra Leone today. Also, of course, you can also send an email to jessica@cityfmonline.com. Let me know what's going on in your head, on your mind, in your relationships. I want to hear it all. Plus, you can also join us on Facebook. Search for Sister Sister Live, Live, like our page. Join the exciting conversations that go on there. So let's say hello to the ladies on the show today. Joining me in studio, as usual, my superstar sister, Gail. Good to see you. It's another week.
Good to see you as
You're
well.
here with the headband. You still haven't taught me how to do it.
I'm just waiting for you. Whenever you're ready.
You see,
Whatever.
you should have come on the show with a, some headgear, and then you just tie
I
it for me.
think we should do that. Yeah.
Next episode.
Yes, we should.
We have a date.
Yes.
See, so because you didn't do one for me, I'm going to do my own thingy right here.
There's so many ways of killing a cat.
There
so,
you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
It's good to see you, though.
good
I
to
hope
see
you
you
had a
as
super
well.
week.
Yes. And how about you?
I'm all right. Can't complain. Thanks for asking.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Let's say hello to Rosina as well, who's joining us via Zoom. Hello, sister.
Hello, Jessica. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. It's another week. Thank God for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. How have you been?
That's all right. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. Not the best of weeks, but it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. You're on Sister Sister, and I know that always lifts your mood no matter what's going on in your life, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
And today we have a guest coming in all the way from South Africa. No kidding. She's a sister.
Awesome.
Yep. And she's a certified life coach. Her name is Sabi Njakaza.
Awesome.
Yeah, and she's our guest all the way from
Can I call her
SA.
Sabi?
Yes, Sabi works. Hello, Sabi.
The rest I can't manage it.
Sabi, thanks for joining us on Sister Sister today.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited and happy to be here.
Super stuff. I hope everything's going well in SA.
Everything's good. Everything's good. We just had a State of the Nation with the president tonight, so we're moving to level 1.
Wow. Well, good luck with that, and I hope you stay safe.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go right into action. I'll share the first message with everybody, and then we can jump right in. So this one says, hello, sisters. I'm a married woman with 2 kids. My husband is financially stable, but my past is haunting me. During my university days, I dated this older man who is now my father-in-law. The issue is my father-in-law kept sleeping with me, so he doesn't reveal my past to his son. I'm scared that the second child that I have might be for my father-in-law. I'm guessing if the DNA test is conducted, the results will prove me right. I want to end the sexual affair with my in-law without losing my marriage and respect. I'm tired of having sex with father and son. Yeah, it doesn't get crazier than that.
Yeah.
So, married, 2 kids, used to date this older guy. He's now their father-in-law. She's still sleeping with him. She suspects this second child belongs to her father-in-law. How does she stop this relationship completely? without ruining her marriage. Gail, you're in studio with me, so I'm gonna, dump right this in your lap. Yeah.
You see, the last sentence, she was like, she doesn't want to lose respect in her marriage.
Yes.
I mean, this is a joke of a marriage. So already you don't even have a marriage. So what do you want to lose? And sorry to say, but she doesn't have any respect as well, because she said, she made it look like the father-in-law was blackmailing her, so that it doesn't reveal what they had. That's what that's what I'm getting.
Yes.
But you're an adult at the end of the day, and if you say your past is haunting you, your past
It's still
to
your
me is
present.
still your present. Yeah, so I don't know how you can even differentiate the two. It's still ongoing. And when you decide to marry somebody, it should start on trust, transparency and honesty and all those things. And honesty doesn't necessarily mean that everything has to sound good. It could be about the good and bad. You have to be honest about everything, upfront about everything. And yes, you just said a guy in the past. Okay, that's your past, whatever. And then you happen to meet the son. I mean, I don't think before you said I do to the guy, you should have at least, come clean with the son and let him decide. You've made a decision for him by marrying him, and you kept him in the dark.
Right.
That's not cool. So if you had told him, let him make the decision for himself and be like, okay, yes, you've been with him before. After all, we all have exes and stuff. So let him be able to decide and say, okay, I'm not comfortable with my dad being with you before, or what. Let him decide on that on his own. But for you to decide for him, that was where the mistake started. And now you're talking about your second child being, you're suspecting, and they always say that the mother knows who the father is, the real father. So if she's saying that, then she knows. But how can you live in this situation? It's so toxic and too much, like psychologically, it's too much. Because you're dealing with this, and you're always looking behind your shoulder, and you expect that. I mean, your marriage should work? No, I don't think so. So she should forget about continue with this marriage, because definitely it will come and bite her in the butt. I'm sorry, because one day something might happen. Maybe the kid might need something. They'll have to do a DNA test. And even if she thinks because the grandfather might be the kid's father, she's saying that the DNA might prove that the father is it. Because sometimes your father and your, I think your,
like his son, almost
can
the same
still
genes.
have the same genes,
Right.
but you still cannot get away with that, because at least your conscience, is what's eating you up.
Right.
So if I were you, I mean, you've done enough. I mean, like, you've done enough. Just, if you want to come clean, let them know what's going on, because you can't do this. And then you should know that as soon as it comes out, you don't have a marriage. I don't think your husband will want to be in such a situation.
So you're saying she should definitely come clean with
She
both
has
of them,
to.
or just her husband?
Well, the father knows what he's doing. The father, he knows what he's doing, and I don't know what's going on between the two of them, but the one who is in the dark is the most
husband.
important person. He has to know. And if I were here, I'll just get out of the marriage. Come clean for your sanity's sake, for your peace of mind, so that you can heal as well, because I don't know why you did that.
Right.
And then let them know that this is what happened, and just forget about the marriage.
Right.
Because it's too toxic.
Right. Okay, Rosina, so Gail says forget about the marriage, definitely. Do you agree or disagree? Should she indeed even come clean with her husband?
I completely agree with Gail on her stance on the matter, in that, transparency in marriage is extremely important. It's extremely important. And if you know that what you're doing is good, it doesn't matter how it goes around. So far as the information goes around, you are comfortable, you're in the conscience. When you do things with a clean conscience, there's a beauty about it, in that no matter how it goes and comes around, your conscience is clean. That's number one. Now, like Gail said, that statement that she said that she doesn't want to lose her respect in her marriage, I mean, for me, that was the joke of the century, because in what you've done, you've already lost that respect already. It's one thing having an affair with an older man when you're in school. A few people have done it. You won't be the first person to do it. You won't be the last person to do it. Yes, we don't condone it. However, the moment you found out that the man you were going to get married to, or the man you were in a serious relationship with, is the son of somebody you've had sexual relations with, it is important that you make a life decision there. The decision is whether to break the news to her son about your affair with his father, or to just forgo the whole marriage altogether, because these things, they always come to bite you. There are situations where the men would even say that, okay, now that you're marrying my son, I really like you as a person and will no longer be intimate again. But one day, it is going to happen again, because how do you explain you're not being so close with your father-in-law, XYZ to the son? It is terrible. And the fact that you had to continue sleeping with the man in order to prevent him from telling on you whilst being married to his son, I think it's a very warped situation. It's a very sad situation. I don't know. I can't picture, I can't really wrap my head around it. And I think that this is not a marriage. This is, even if it's a marriage, it's filled on very, 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 very varied levels. I mean, there's no trust, there's no transparency, it's built on lies, it's built on deceit, it's built on so many very wrong foundations. And those foundations are needed to have a successful marriage. So my take is that, my dear, in your head, start psychologically preparing yourself for not having a marriage. Start forgiving yourself for the harm you've caused yourself and your family. And after you've done that, probably go for some form of psychological, treatment, so that, or some form of therapy to bring you to terms with what you are to face ahead. And then you need to come clean with your husband and let him know what the situation is. Coming clean with your husband is the only way to break free of your father-in-law. Because even if you decide to move away from your father-in-law and break free from him, he would now probably tell his son that secret. And then sometimes when there's a secret, who you hear it from is very important.
True.
If he hears it from you, the wife, it would hurt, it will sink deep, but then the level of anger may be directed rather towards the father.
Right.
But if you wait until the father gets fed up and feels like, okay, now you're denying me, and decides to twist the story and tell his son, then you become a third person. So I think that transparency is key. You need to be very transparent with your husband, because these are not issues you can hide forever.
Sure.
With the DNA test, yes, there might be strong similarities, because once the DNA is the father's DNA, most likely the DNA will be the same. And DNA is on probabilities. If the probability is even 80%, you can still say, yes, 80% is my son. So it's not a big deal. But your conscience is what the big deal is. And the fact that your father-in-law is still sleeping with you, that's what masks the record even more. If he was no longer sleeping with you, then you can even have some way out that, after we got married, I've never had anything to do with him again. But this is the case after marriage. You were still having affairs with him just to secure your marriage. And I think this man is going to feel very light to, betrayed to, offended, and everything. So I think you need to go through these processes. But by all means, in your head, there's no marriage. And then realistically, you've lost respect on both fronts. If your father-in-law respected you enough, he wouldn't be sleeping with you still. And the moment the son finds this out, he would also not respect you again.
Right.
And that's the reality on the ground.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so Rosina is also saying, come clean. Sabi, I'm curious to know what you have to say about this particular story. Quite tricky.
I find something very interesting. She used the word, my husband is financially stable, which then says to me that that's a very important element to her, which that also says to me that there's a transactional relationship here. So if she was dating this older man while she was in school, there was obviously something that he was assisting her with, helping her with. She's either maybe not making as much money as her husband, needed help as a young girl. So there's a power dynamic already to begin with here.
Right.
Two, my biggest issue is the child that she talks about, that she says possibly might be my father-in-law's child. So we're not only just dealing with the fact that she's been dishonest in her marriage, we're dealing with the fact that when this comes out, because it will, there is a child at play here. And if this child is not, is not the child of her husband, we've also got now psychological damage. Because once it's found out, for example, that this child is not his, that relationship is going to deteriorate. And so does this child go without a father? Is his grandfather now going to be his father? What does that look like?
Right.
So Rosina said something for me that was really, really vital, and that's therapy is needed here. Even before she talks to her husband, she needs to go to therapy so that she can get the tools needed to deal with the situation. Because it's not just going to be between her and her husband, it's going to destroy the whole family. And for me, honestly, 95% of me says, there's no ways he's ever going to forgive this.
Right.
So I think the problem with her is she feels stuck. And that's why I talk about the transactional relationship, because she's probably also thinking about things like, if the marriage ends, what's going to happen to her? Is she going to have a place to stay if she doesn't work, for example? And then there's the shame. So it's not just going to be the shame from his side, it's also shame from her family side.
Right.
You know, something that started, that's maybe in her mind, you know, she wasn't really thinking, and, you know, she just got into it. It's just snowballed into such a big thing that, you know, now it's also affecting the next generation. And so I would say to her that the number one thing that she has to do now is seek professional help, get to a place where emotionally she's going to be able to deal with this. If she's working, put things in place so that if it ends badly and she's left with nothing and she only can depend on herself, that she can really depend on herself.
Right.
I'm a big believer in grace. I'm a big believer in second chances. But man, this is a huge betrayal. I don't think that trust can be. No.
Yeah. Sounds like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's no easy way out of this. Either way, someone's gonna get hurt. Either way, your relationship or your marriage is gonna, it's literally done, you know. So I think instead of concentrating on sort of how to end the sexual affair with your father-in-law without losing your, no, I think you need to do two things. One, psych yourself. Like the girls are saying, that marriage is going to end. There's no man who you will confess to that you've been sleeping with his father and will still agree to stay married to you.
And have a kid.
Yes, and have a kid. You know, no, I don't know any man who will do that. No. So that marriage is done. You know, so for the sexual affair, end that either way, because that's the reason why you're in the position you are right now. End that. Free yourself of all the guilt and the burden. Tell your husband and let the chips fall where they may. You know? Let me see if I can bring in a couple of comments on this story. So Gregory sends a message, says, you may lose your husband, but it is best to right the wrongs right now. Emmanuel says, wonderful. The way she puts it is equally amazing. The issue is my father-in-law kept sleeping with me so he doesn't reveal my past to his son. The solution to the problem lies in her own utterances. She knows what she has to do, but she wants to protect her image. Nee says, in all honesty, I think this will be a difficult task to do, but if you genuinely love your husband, tell him about the incident. The lady made a mistake not telling the husband about her university days when she found out that the man was her father-in-law. At least it could have stopped something. Hassan says, quote unquote, without losing my marriage and respect, my dear, you don't know what respect is. Mariella says she wants to keep her respect. Sweetie, it's gone. On top of that, the DNA will differ even just a bit. Everyone is unique. You and your in-law are ruthless. Praying for your husband. Efia says, you wanted it. How could he threaten you with this when he equally had something to lose? You should have just dared him instead of giving in so easily. Moha Jane Dodo, you say. And Sabi, for you, that means like you're just troublesome. Gideon says, hey, but this is quite strange. An issue of two adults who insist on ruining an innocent fellow's life. The moment you got to know his father was your one-time love, you should have taken steps to either explain things to your husband-to-be or quit. Charles says you're hiding something. How did you meet the son? 2, when you knew his dad was being intimate with you, why did you continue dating his son? 3, at least you dated his son for a while before getting married to him. And 4, you need deliverance. Lungu says you should have told your husband right away. You'll have to tell him anyway. I wish you had called your father-in-law's bluff. He would have never told his son. He banked on you being afraid And that's how blackmail works. And a final message from Albie says, you're a wicked woman who does not deserve happiness in this world. You're talking as if you didn't know that your ex or father-in-law was your husband's father before he got married to him. You don't need any advice but deliverance from the spirit living within you. Well, I mean, I'm sure she knows what kind of, damage she's done and trouble she's gotten herself into. I don't want us to condemn her per se, but let's at least guide her on what we think she can do to sort of surmount this very high mountain. We'll go for a quick commercial break. It's Sister Sister on City TV and City FM. We'll be right back.
Just not ready yet. I want to wait a little before getting pregnant again.
Stop worrying and live free. No matter who you are, Lydia has a contraceptive just for you. Choose the Lydia Daily Contraceptive Pill with iron as your regular contraceptive, or the Lydia IUD, a non-hormonal contraceptive for long-term pregnancy prevention. Contact the Lydia Contact Center and let us help you decide how to live free. With Lydia, you truly decide.
Hello, viewers. I'm feeling very frustrated and bored in Sambulai. I'm very happy. If you don't understand, don't worry, because myself, I don't understand. In this edition, Vodafone Ghana has now made it possible to send money from Vodafone Cash to all network free. We'll cross over to our senior reporter for more details.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm standing in front downtown. You know, I'm learning to make a vlog. I'm not funny, I said. Vodafone, I'm not quite said. Emily Dutopia, Echo all the network. I will check up there. Me Tissi Montezo, Diamond Falcon.
Fifia, Matendo says, don't you put charges, Manomi? Joe, you bro, charges on your wumlo, at the harmonium. A beer says, do the ha, charges or Clandan.
Hanging on your friend no me. Instead, I'm a charges, man, charges I met G, Naka charges, when we know, Mania Cafe BP, oh, honey, food for
For me, I do a lot of online transactions. I just guess here. See, the excitement for me is that I get to save a lot on Vodafone Cash.
Please put me down.
I'm so excited. I can now send money to all networks without any charges.
Me ye Jediniba. A bribia says me chia me juma ye fokan. Sika me chia se charges no. And do so do. Nansu say dear. Vodafone Cash.
Sending money on Vodafone Cash to all networks is now free. Send any amount of money as many times as you like to all networks for free. Dial *110# now to send money.
Any amount for Masumo. Video 2. Put him in car. And yeah, Musoma.
This is the red news. Apologize.
The future is exciting. Ready?
And you're welcome back, Sister Sister, on City TV and City FM. Remember, the WhatsApp number is active, 054-998-6996. Don't forget to prefix it with a country code if you're texting from outside Ghana, +233, that would be. So, show's brought to you by Vodafone and Lydia, and with Lydia, you truly decide. We'll go into our next message for the day, and this one says, hello, Jess. I've been in a relationship for over a year, and I'm planning to get married to her soon. I've met her parents to make my plans known, and they are really happy. 3 weeks ago, I invited her to spend a couple of days with me. We slept on the same bed. In the middle of the night, I found out my boxers were drenched in urine. I woke her up to ask her if she actually wet the bed, and she confirmed it. I didn't make a big deal out of it. Last week, I again invited her over, and to my greatest surprise, it reoccurred. I was of the opinion that this was just a one-time occurrence. I couldn't believe an adult over 20 years would wet her bed. After a little confrontation, she told me that she was actually a bedwetter. She explained that it happens when she dreams that she's urinating. To be honest, I'm feeling really irritated. I've lost the love I have for her, and it seems like I'm just faking it right now to stay. It's a shame. Please advise me on how to proceed. Rosina, you're going to be the first person I'm coming to here. Issues of bedwetting.
Okay, so bedwetting, I believe, can be caused either from pure laziness, because some people just sleep so deeply and they just can't get themselves to wake up from bed and go and pee when they feel like doing so. But sometimes it could also be medical. But most of the time, especially, people tend to feel embarrassed by taking such conditions to the hospital because everybody around them stops bedwetting and they don't understand why they are still going on and going to the hospital to complain to a doctor that you are bedwetting when there are more serious issues at play. You feel like your issue is not strong enough to take to the hospital. So most people tend to just try and keep it in their cupboards and then wait till it gets, completely out of hand and then they can't do anything about it. But I think that it's something that she can actually take to the hospital and have it investigated to find out why she's still bedwetting as an adult. That is if the reason is anything other than laziness. But to start with, she could try setting alarm clocks, just like we do for children, to stop them from bedwetting. So if you go to bed, you set an alarm clock, let's say for 11 p.m., you wake up, you go and pee. You set another alarm clock like 2 a.m., that's when the sleep is really, really, really nice, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. Set an alarm clock for like 3 a.m., get up and go and pee, just like we do for kids. And who knows, it may actually give you some form of remedy. Now, the thing is that you have such a problem, you haven't cured it yet, you're going to do a washing. Why?
Going to sleep at your bed, your boyfriend's house. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for the benefit of Sabi, a washing is like sleeping away with your boyfriend, like sleeping out. Okay. So I'm saying that you have such a problem and you're going to sleep out. Why? Why are you sleeping out? You understand? So you need to sort certain things out. Right now you've put, all kinds of, stress on the relationship unduly. But then again, the man who also sends the message, you see, when people talk about love, loving the other partner, my question is that, do they really understand that word or they just throw it around because things are good? Because when you love people, you love the people for who they are, the good, the bad, and the ugly. The issue is about weighing to see for you what is a deal breaker and what isn't a deal breaker. Then that probably reinforces the love that you have for them. Now, if you find out that your wife is a bedwetter, this is something that happens indoors. People don't have to find out. And she has come clean with you and admitted that, yes, this is the situation. My take is that why don't you suggest medical help to her? Why don't you try and address the problem and see whether there is a headway? All of a sudden, the love that you felt for her, everything that you have for her has just vanished just because you've seen her bedwetting. Yes, it can be very daunting, but sometimes being a mother, it opens your mind to certain kinds of ailments. You realize that sometimes the process of pregnancy and even childbirth, sometimes you go through certain horrid experiences, nasty experiences, and it may not be any fault of yours. And it's very painful when the other person who is supposed to love you, supposed to care for you, just leaves you out in the cold. So all I'm saying is that since it's the man who is sending the message, all I'll say is that, yes, you claim you loved her so much before this incident. Yes, this incident is very annoying, especially if you're somebody who has OCD issues. I don't think you want to wake up and have your whole bed smelling like urine and wet and all of that. However, if you claim you love the person, at least try and seek medical help. If you try and seek medical help and she's not interested, she's probably arrogant about it and doesn't want to go and is probably angered, why are you suggesting this kind of medical help for me? Then you know that she's in a space where she doesn't want to get better. Then you can make your decision from then on. But maybe if you suggested to her that, look, let's go see a medical professional to see whether we can deal with this, because it can be cured. For most cases, it can be cured. So let's find out if we can see somebody, and then to kind of like take us through the processes of rectifying the situation. That's all I have to say.
Okay,
so
Sabby?
if you love her.
Okay, I get it. Like if you love her, then definitely you need to sort of stick it through, right? Sabby, let me hear your thoughts on this one. I mean, what would you do with a bedwetter?
Rosina, I think you and I are in the same WhatsApp group, as we'd say. So my biggest issue with this is that it's wrapped up in shame, especially from the woman's side. As Rosina said, there's this shame. We're a certain age. How can I be wetting the bed? And I'm so sad that the shame is keeping her from seeking medical help. And let's reframe this. Let's reframe something that he's looking at a negative and say, you know, for someone, if he truly loves her, I feel like he should go, okay, this is a problem, and I'm worried about you. You know, actually, there's so many things that this could be. It could be diabetes. It could be a urinary tract infection. You know, it could be like neurological disorders. Her body is actually talking to her and saying, seek help. Possibly there's medication for this. Second thing for me, what concerns me is that it seems like they're not talking. How are you in a relationship with someone for 1 year? And after a year and after talking about marriage, only when you're sleeping next to him after 1 year do you find this out. For me, that's like very scary. Like, you know, she's shameful. She doesn't feel comfortable being vulnerable with him. And then him on the same side, this has happened, and he's just told himself, I'm done, I'm out. You know, this could have easily happened a year after they get married, 2 years after they get married. I mean, what is he going to do? Is he going to walk away? Things happen in life. You know, I could get married now and be in a car accident and be paralyzed. Are you going to leave me? So the question I have, even besides the wetting in the bed, what is the foundation of their relationship? You know, where's that foundation? Where's the strength that says, you know, through thick and thin, the same wedding vows that he's professing he wants to make? You know, it's life. Things happen. So the first thing for me would be to talk to her about it, not to condemn her because of it, to have it checked out, and to really just have an honest conversation, because I feel like from her side, keeping this a secret for so long says to me that there's a level of trust that's missing. And from him, she wet the bed twice. He expected it to be over the first time he asked, and it's not, and he's done. That's the problem.
Right.
So yes, the bed wet is the center of the issue, but I feel like there's a deeper issue in the relationship. There's no communication or trust here.
Right. Okay. Well, Gail, you've heard the ladies. What are your thoughts?
Well, I can always say, before you say I do, I've known certain things about the other person. I'm not saying you can know everything, because sometimes it's situations that reveal certain things about someone. Even myself, I don't think I know myself totally. There are things I could be able to kill. I don't know. I've never killed before, but who knows if I'm provoked, I could. So, but having said that, before you make things official with somebody, you should be able to, how do I call it? You and your partner be in certain situations that will make you know that, hey, this person acts this way in this situation, acts this way in this situation. You should have been able to have spent time with him and all of that to know that, okay, this is what she has, before deciding to be with her. Because it looks like he just decided to marry her based on, okay, we're dating. Okay, we've been together for a while. Okay, because obviously it's not a very solid relationship. It's not a mature one, because just this little thing that you saw, you are like, okay, I'm just, I'm bailing out. Right. So it's just a very shallow relationship. And with these things, I know it's very uncomfortable that someone peed, but what if you were with her, she got pregnant? I know women, some of them, when they get pregnant, some of them even pee sometimes when they are pregnant because of the pressure of the baby on the I'm not a scientist, so yes, so sometimes they pee, and then what if and I know there are some women, after they have their babies, they have this condition called fistula, something, and then you
something like that,
and then you pee and all of that. So you see, like what's her name again? your friend from South
Oh,
Africa.
Sabi.
Yeah, like she said, anything can happen. So if you're not ready for all of that, because for me, I always say that relationships and marriages are not based on physical, like standards, like the person's age, how they look like, and all those things. You need to look for deeper things that you can't buy with money. You know, intangibles like, you know, integrity, commitment, and, you know, a person's character, because that's what will always be with that person. Because you can age, you can wrinkle and everything, but what will keep you with a person is the substance of that person. So you don't just get up and decide I want to be with someone just because
all is well.
Yes, and yeah, also that's what life is all about. So I grow up, I get a job, I get married. No, people make such mistakes and you get married for the wrong reasons. So, and I've been talking to a couple of ladies, actually counseling them who are also going through the same thing. And you can tell that they all had issues, psychological issues that happened to them when they were younger. They were sexually abused. And so when that happens, it gives you a low self-esteem of yourself. And so the way you think, you're not able to develop like the way
a regular person.
Yes, because you have all that, you are dealing with all of that, your low self-esteem, you know, you have an inferiority complex and stuff like that. So that can also make you not to, like I said, not function the way an adult would. So like your friend said again, I've forgotten the name, Sabi, right? She said something about psychological something deeper, you see. So this guy, obviously, you and the lady are not on the same page. So you just leave her alone. If you can help her, help her. She definitely needs to get some help. I don't know about the medical side because I don't know. But if psychologically, definitely she needs that, because the more it keeps happening, the more your self-esteem keeps getting lower and lower, because look at what happened and see the way you reacted.
Yes, it's embarrassing.
So I don't, and she trusted you. I'm sure she knows she had an issue, but because she said you loved her, you're going to marry her, she knows this is somebody I can be vulnerable with.
Right.
And then so coming over, I don't think she knew. I'm sure she was praying it won't happen. But the more you're worried about it, the more it's going to happen.
Right.
So she needs help.
Right. Yeah, she definitely
needs help.
Definitely does.
And put the dating thing on hold. That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear gentlemen, I'd like you to try something. I was doing a little like research about this whole bedwetting thing. Let your lady try to reduce eating carbs, especially starchy carbs, before bed. Now, for me, from what like I read, it has a lot to do with how deeply you sleep. Carbs completely knock you out.
They do.
And so you'll go from REM to light sleep and deep sleep. Sometimes when you have carbs, you don't even do the light sleep stage. You go straight into deep sleep.
Wow.
Now, when you're in deep sleep, from what I read, your body at some point has no control. Like you have no control over your body anymore. And that's where sometimes there's this thing they call in Ghana, mnunkum. Have you heard of it?
I heard of that, where you
it's
feel
like you feel like there's a spirit. Yeah, you can't wake up. You're awake, but your body will move and you're screaming and you have these thoughts about like, because you're in that state. And when you're in that state, you don't have control over your body. And that's why in certain cases, she can pee. So like I'm saying, let her reduce her carbohydrate intake towards bedtime. If at all, let her have like her last meal maybe at 4 p.m.
And no liquids too,
yes, and
yeah.
drink, and try not to drink too much water towards bedtime as well. I think that should help the situation a little bit. I understand, you know, how you feel, dear guy, but like the ladies are saying, if you really love this woman, you should be able to look beyond, try and help her find a solution and sort of progress, you know, as you go along. Help her, let her know that you're with her through thick and thin, because that's what love is really about. It's not about everything being 100%. That will never happen. So what if, knock on wood, 10 years down the line, you have an accident and you lose a leg.
To stay with you,
Do you expect, do you expect her to stay with you? I'm sure the answer will be yes. Right? So if you really love her, then you might want to reconsider all these things. Find it, you know, dig deep and look for that love. Let me bring in a couple of messages. So Emma says, everybody loves until they have to love. Interesting one there. Alpha says, why don't you do away with the whole love issue for now? Play Good Samaritan, see if positive results would come out, and if they could bring back the love. I wish you well. Dominic says, this is not normal, my brother. There's a spiritual side to it. Help her with prayers and look for a powerful man of God to deliver her in prayers if you truly love her, so you can have your woman to yourself. Jifa says, you can equally help her find a remedy for this. By the way, if she visits, make sure you wake her up randomly to pee. It shall be well. Craig says, your write-up shows you did absolutely nothing to help her out of this situation. How pathetic. Do you think relationship and marriage is about finding the perfect person? Melissa says, it's difficult since it's something unexpected, but if that person truly compliments you and you truly love her, then please help her deal with it. Soraya says, the only thing I'm going to say is that what you had for her was not love. At the end of the day, leaving her will be the best thing that will ever happen to her. Pfizer says, most often we misuse the phrase, I love you. If you love someone, love everything about the person, be ready to go through thick and thin with him or her. Now, mister, if this issue had been vice versa, I believe you would have begged her to stay and to keep your secret. Ronnie says, if you did love her, what you'll be thinking about is getting her a doctor's appointment. Y'all think love is something about perfection, eh? And finally, Sandra says, but wait, please, those saying he's selfish, he never loved her, blah, blah, blah. No, let's ask ourselves, how many of us will be able to get married to a bedwetter? It's not easy. Please cut him some slack. It's Sister on City TV and 97.3 City FM. Your comments are welcome on our WhatsApp number 054-998-6996. We'll go for yet another commercial break. We'll be right back.
Don't just watch, be wowed. Get fired up. Get down. Catch feels. Drop the mic. Choose to be moved. On the move. Hot spot, any spot. Enjoy a new view. Walk in another shoes. Power heels. Paws. And feet. Take your stories to the streets. Hold court with court queens. Ice queens and Yas queens. Fly away. Come back home. And enjoy online entertainment on any screen. Sign up at showmax.com and change the way you watch.
Just not ready yet. I want to wait a little before getting pregnant again.
Stop worrying and live free. No matter who you are, Lydia has a contraceptive just for you. Choose the Lydia Daily Contraceptive Pill with iron as your regular contraceptive, or the Lydia IUD, a non-hormonal contraceptive for long-term pregnancy prevention. Contact the Lydia Contact Center and let us help you decide how to live free. With Lydia, you truly decide.
Welcome back, Sister on City TV and City FM. A message here says, I was with my man for 5.5 years and everything was fine. We were so close that people mistook us for a married couple. We hid nothing from each other and did everything together. We established this solid relationship where we could talk about anything and everything, solve our issues, apologize, make up. He came to see my family, knocking. We were supposed to get married on the 2nd of May this year. It was announced in church, but due to COVID-19, we postponed it until further notice. He started acting shady somewhere in February. He didn't call me like he used to. When I call, he either shuts me up or rudely told me that he was busy. He became very distant and difficult to reason with. I complained to the marriage counselor at church, and she spoke to him. He accepted his faults, promised that he will do better. It rather went from better to worse. During the lockdown period, I kept complaining. When I visited him, he acted as though I was a bother. I asked him on several occasions whether we are still an item, and he says yes. He said he was still interested in the marriage, but was still being distant. Can you imagine? He called off our marriage ceremony on the 5th of July after an argument we had over a lady's picture that he had used on his wallpaper on his phone. Long story short is that I suspected that he was cheating on me during the lockdown, and he confirmed it to my mom just a few days ago. I gave him 2 months to rescind his decision because I couldn't lose what we had built. I knew he still loved me, but was just angry at me. It seems he's made up his mind. I heard there's a legal process I can start to receive some compensation. Please advise. All right, Sabby, let me come to you with this one. I don't know what you'll think about it, but guy's just acting shady.
There's a lot in this message. There's a lot. And most of it, I'm sorry, I hope I'm not being too blunt. You know, there's something powerful. It's not called women's intuition for no reason, right? We have intuition. It's we know what we know, what we know. Firstly, she's all the things she's talking about. So she knew. Then she went and complained. She gave him 2 months. All of these things. The girl knew that brother man was doing other things. She knew. But I think that she's told herself, oh, I've given so much of my life to him. 5 years is such a long time. We were supposed to get married. The embarrassment of it all. What's going to happen? You know. You know, there's something about, I meet couples sometimes, and I come to this conclusion that people might be in a relationship, but 2 people are having a different relationship. So we're together, but we're having 2 different relationships here. You see how she described the relationship? She described the relationship according to her viewpoint. It's not his. It's according to hers. And for me, you're dating for 5 years. There is lockdown for a few months, and all of a sudden he changes. That didn't just start then.
No.
It didn't just start then and then. It's either it started way before, or there's been someone in the background, or he met someone, and for him it was like, ooh, I've made a mistake. But he didn't have the guts to tell her, or was hoping that she was going to get the signs and leave on her own accord. So for me, I'm like, also the last part about, what did she say? Compensation.
Yeah.
Compensation for what? Do you know what I mean?
For wasting her time, no?
Yeah, but did he waste her time? She was a participant. She was a participant in the relationship. She wasn't held to ransom. And the reason now she wants compensation because she's hurt. My thing is, grieve, sister. Just start the grieving period and also reframe it. Be thankful that you didn't marry him. Be thankful that you didn't marry him. I know when you're in pain, it's hard to look at the brighter side. But I promise you something. This is a blessing. Walk away. Don't try to get compensation. You weren't held ransom. You participated. You wanted this man. And look, it hurts, right? When someone no longer wants you, it hurts. But just walk away. Keep it moving.
Right. Okay. Keep it moving. Gail, do you agree? Walk away?
I agree, and I agree with her about the compensation thing. I don't know, I don't want to sound a bit biased, but when it comes to women, I feel like because they say women have to wait for them to be asked out, it's like they put everything on the guy. But you should know that it's your choice as well. You should be responsible for choosing the guy as well. So if you say he owes you something, I don't know why, because you enabled him, and as you said, you were a participant in the whole thing. I mean, you spent time with him, you call him and everything. That's your choice as well. So you wasted your own time, because if you put a blame on him, then that means you don't have a mind of your own, and you are just looking to him to fulfill you. Like people always say, find someone who fulfills you or completes you. I beg to differ. Be complete on your own before you find someone.
Right.
Even if you're selling, like I said, pure water, living in hen coop, let it be something that you have control over. You have to be your own boss, your own person, so that when you get into a relationship, you're not going in for the person to like I said, complete you, but to add on and grow with the person. So when the person is no more in the picture, you don't lose much. Right. You're still able to stand on your own feet, even if it's in your own small corner. Do you understand? So that's a mistake a lot of women do. You should know that you should choose a guy based on certain standards, like I keep saying. If that guy doesn't tick your boxes, don't focus on the fact that it's all about just the cheating. A lot of people just think that as long as he's not cheating on me, everything is fine. How about mental abuse? the guy is also manipulating you by gaslighting you, like I always say. You were suspecting I was cheating, but he was lying about it, so you push. So that's what you even have to worry about. The guy's not even transparent, but you're worried about the cheating. A lot of people think as long as it's just cheating, then we are okay. But you can be with somebody for 20 years and there's no cheating and you still have a crap relationship because there's no respect, there's no transparency, there's no substance, like I always say. So I agree with her. When you feel like your relationship with somebody is costing you your peace of mind and your sanity, you don't have to be there. Because like I said, it's two people who are deciding to build a life together, and everybody has to feel like, have your peace of mind in there. So if you feel you have to like prove yourself to the other person, you have to let the person go. Right. You always have to choose yourself because you've all you got. And your happiness depends on you, not anybody else.
Okay. Rosina, looks like you have the final word on this one.
Okay. I completely agree with Sabi. You should be thankful. I always say that marriage is not a joke. And even though getting into marriage is usually very rosy, we're in this together, divorcing is a different conversation on its own. Even though you can decide today that I want to get married today, you can't just decide on your own that I want to get divorced. The court can tell you that, we don't think you've really finished exhausting your issues yet, so stay in there for a while. And it costs money. So you should be thankful that you're not getting married to him. Number two, the longevity of your relationship should not be a guarantee for your marriage, especially a successful marriage. So you see a lot of ladies are caught in this trap of you've dated for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. My question is that after a couple of years, you should know whether this is something you really want or not and get it moving. Don't waste your time for 5 years, unless, of course, you are so young and you're waiting to grow a little or whatever, but whatever it is. And no matter what, until you are married, you don't have any I don't know what to say. You don't have any, until you are legally married or legally binded together, you can't claim that person really for your own. You're still dating, you're still seeing things. Now, some men, maybe during the lockdown, let's assume he's weak and then he did a few things that he shouldn't have done. When you catch him or when you find out, there's a way he should react, even if it was a moment of weakness. But he's reacted in a way where he doesn't care. And for me, that's why I completely agree with Sabi that this didn't start only during the lockdown. This probably started long ago. He was hoping that you get the message, but probably two families were involved and two families were doing, you've been there for 2 years, 3 years, you make a beautiful couple, you do this, you do that. And you see, another thing is that ladies, when you're dating somebody, you should be able to find things out, let's say, communicate, see how you gel and everything, but do not play the wife role. I don't know whether you understand me.
Absolutely.
Do not play the wife role. You decide everything together, you are doing things together, you're building together, because when chips fall, it gets harder to swallow because you feel you have invested not just yourself, not just your time, but you've invested your intellect, your emotions, your psyche, everything is in there. And you're already settled in there. You understand? Sometimes you need to hold something back because no matter how rosy a relationship is, when you get married, marriages, I don't know whether it's because of the fact that it's done and you have a certificate to prove that you've done it, things just sometimes, most of the time, go a little sour for a bit. Before, if both of you are mature or emotionally mature, you can handle it and then you get that balance and you can then begin to live like brother and sister who are doing intimate things. You understand?
Right.
But aside that, so all I'm trying to say is that, look, you probably thought you had a relationship for 5 years, but you're probably just going through the mechanical motions of do A, do B, do C, do D. Now he's shown you that, look, I really don't want this marriage, and you should be lucky that you found this out now. Otherwise, you could have been married, and on your wedding night, he's going to spend it with some other woman. What are you going to say? You understand? And for this issue of compensation, yes, the legal framework allows you to claim compensation, but sometimes going through that process only hurts you the more. because it's going to let out all your baggage into, like, everybody's going to see what you were up to, what did you do for him, how many years. A lot of ugly things are going to come out. He's going to come up with all kinds of reasons why you probably don't deserve the compensation, you held him against his will.
Right.
Look, so many things can happen. So all I'm saying is that, look, yes, compensation is good. It's interesting when you think about it, but the practical process can be daunting. And if you're not psychologically ready, it could even drain you more than not being with him. At least the fact that she's talking about compensation means that she's checked out of the marriage, which is good.
All right, Rosie.
But she shouldn't be filled with so much regret. She should just leave, because she saved herself another decade, 2 decades, 3 decades of hurt, pain, agony, misery.
Right,
that's
Rosie.
all I have to say.
Sorry, we're running out of time, so I'm going to have to end this conversation. But what she's asking about is called breach of promise to marry. It's in Ghanaian law. It's in Ghanaian law, where if you can prove, you know, other people were witnesses to the fact that he promised to marry you and you've been doing everything a wife-to-be supposed to do, you can actually seek compensation in a court of law. So look into that if that's really what you want to pursue, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much, ladies, for making time. Sabby, Sabby, my darling, coming all the way from South Africa to join us on Sister Sister today. Really appreciate your audience. It's been great. I hope that we see you again soon. And thank you to Vodafone and Lydia for bringing us another exciting edition of Sister Sister. It's a wrap. My name is Jessica. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.
Sister Sister is sponsored by Lydia Contraceptive. With Lydia, you truly decide.
We're about to change your Sunday night for the better.
The reality is, after school in Ghana,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. Where are you
Yeah.
going? The job that you are getting.